You should see the question that says, which of the following is not a true statement about 11 minus 2? So when you see a system like this, what do you normally do?
Substitution or elimination.
You solve it though.
Yeah.
And you got to be careful with this is perhaps the most difficult type of question you can get, which is a not question.
Yeah.
So not means that there are how many true and how many are correct.
3 true,
Yeah.
1 false.
So you can get this wrong because you think you look at the first one, it's right, and you just say, oh, it's A. Now let's look at a system so you get a little bit more background on it. I have no idea what these look like, but 11 negative 2 is over here. So here's what's possible. 11 negative 2 could be on this line, but not on this line. Like they could intersect over here. Like we have no idea what 11 negative 2 is. It could be that this is the second equation in the first equation. It could be that it's there. Well, let me draw it differently. It could be that the line is actually there and that's where they intersect. It could also be that where they intersect is somewhere totally different. Like they could intersect up here and that point is over there. So you really don't have much to go off of when it comes to this question. You could solve it, but let's look at them. The ordered pair is not a solution to the first equation. What does that mean to you? The ordered pair is not a solution to the first equation.
Intersect at that point.
It's only about asking about the first equation though.
Not sure.
So what I like to do is I actually like to read these without the word not. The ordered pair is a solution to the first equation. So if it's not a solution, that means it's not on the line. So we can try that. Is -7 times 11 plus 5 times -2, does that equal -1?
What? Okay, so that's -77 minus 10. No.
No. So that's true.
Yes.
Okay. The ordered pair is not a solution to the second equation. So again, I'll read it without the word not. The ordered pair, is it a solution to the second equation? Well, let's find out. 7 times 11 minus 6 times -2, does that equal -3?
77 plus 8. No.
So this is not true. So it is not a solution to the second equation. That's also true.
Yeah.
The ordered pair is not a solution to both equations. So we kind of have that from the first two.
So
like,
yeah, it must be D then.
It must be D. So the ordered pair is a solution to the first equation. Well, no, we already found that out. So you might have been able to do that if you read them all, jump from A to D, but you couldn't be sure because, well, I'm sorry, you could be sure the ordered pair is a solution. Well, that's not true because you know that you tried it in A and it didn't work in D.
Okay.
So there's a lot of actually, these not questions, they have a ton of possibilities when it comes to what the way they could be written, and they're very confusing, especially in a timed scenario. And you see these a lot in college exams as well. Which of the following is not true about whatever class you're taking. So the skill you're learning here will actually go way beyond this test you're taking. Here's the same question for or same question, different system. Let me give you 60 seconds here and see if you can come up with the right answer for this one.
Um, um, not true. Is it A? No. Mm. C.
The answer is C. Good. What makes this question hard to answer?
I was like, well, I solved both equations, and I was like, okay, well, equation one is true, and then I was like going through them, and it's like the not like it like messes with you
It
kind of.
it really does. It really does. And you will see this. And this is why you have to prepare for this test this way, because it's very different than,
Yeah.
your instructor would not normally ask you a question like this. So what I'd like to do now is give you the other fork of this question. Um, and it's still a system, and um, I just because we have the time here, you could choose to solve the system if you wanted. You don't need to for this question, so that's sort of another point of emphasis here, is like, you don't want to take action until you know what they're asking you to do, because it's extra work that's unnecessary potentially.
Okay.
So notice this one says, which of the following is a true statement? So we're looking for the one that's true this time, meaning some of them are false, or many of them are false. There's one true this time and three false. Now you could solve the system, but it may not actually help you in this one. So let's just briefly look at that. To solve this system, you would add the equations and you would end up getting 0 equals 0. Do you remember what that means?
Yes. Infinite solution.
Infinite solutions, and more specifically, they actually, this one is y equals minus 4x. So it more
They're the
specific.
same.
They're right on top of each other, the lines.
Yeah.
So this minus 930, we still don't actually know anything about it. We have no idea if it's a solution or not. So notice that solving it didn't actually help you at all here.
Yeah.
Um, but let's see what the first one says. The ordered pair is a solution to neither equation. I don't know that I would start there. The ordered pair is, let's go with D, is a solution to the second equation. So
Well,
does it work in
is
the
it
second equation?
solution to both equations since they like equal each other?
You wouldn't. So that's if you know the stuff on the right.
Oh,
And
okay.
I'm suggesting not to do that
Okay.
because that didn't really help us. But you're right. These are the same. These are the same. So whatever works in one works in the other. Whatever doesn't work in one doesn't work in the other.
Yeah. Okay.
So for example, let's look at D here. 4 times minus 9 plus 30, does that equal minus 6? So this is minus 36 plus 30. Does that equal minus 6? Yes,
Yep.
it does. So that's true. But it's also a solution to both equations.
Right. So it would be B.
Yes. Because while D is true, it's not the sort of most true, I guess.
Like it's not the only one.
Yeah, and I've seen this more and more, especially in college now, where they give you, like let's just say the answers, like they give you answers that are not simplified on there. Like they'll say, oh, A is 4 pi over 2 and B is 2 pi. Well, B is the correct answer because it's simplified. I don't really like that, but because it can create some confusion potentially, for like what you're actually testing for. But I have seen this, and that's why it's brought up here. So let's do one more of these if you're okay with that. You should not be. You should not be bothered by the numbers being away from the origin. The kind of the fact that it's minus 930. Like, oh wow, that's it's really far off. But um, okay, so give yourself 60 seconds here and
Okay.
see what you got.
Mm, um, it's B.
Yes, it is B. Okay, let me give you one more of the knots, and then we'll jump back to a new question. Give you one with small numbers. That okay. So this is asking which of the following is not a true statement. So there's going to be 3 true and 1 false. You can attack this however you please, but give yourself about a minute to work through this.
Mm, 6. A.
The ordered pair is not a solution to the second equation.
Oh wait, no, wait. That is true.
That is true, but it feels like it's not true.
Okay, hold on. Gotta do this again. So A, not true. B, not a solution to both equations. So it's B then.
Okay, so does this point work in either equation?
The ordered pair is a solution. Oh, it's C because it is not a solution to.
Yes.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yes. Okay. So the knot is really more difficult
Yeah,
when you get these. I don't like them, but they do show up. So when they show up, you have to retrain what you're looking
right.
for that. We could do as many of these as you wanted, but um, I want to move on to some other stuff here. I just want to emphasize again how important that is. There's also this strategy that I think could be useful here. Um, this test is all about time, about
Right.
minimizing time. A lot of the questions say which of the following. So if you wanted to maximize how long a student takes, and you said which of the following, which means you need to look at the answers. If you put the answer in A and they start at A, that takes the least amount of time. B, the next least amount of time, and C, and so on. If you want them to take the most amount of time, you'd put the correct answer here. Now I can't verify this. I can't tell you that this works all the time. I can only tell you that one of the strategies that I recommend when it says which of the following is to actually start bottom up.
Okay.
Doesn't work all the time, but you would think that more often than not, um, the answer would be towards the end because uh, they want you to choose the early one. So what you'll see in college, I think this is worth diving into a little bit here, is you will see. I'm going to say that this is correct, not correct, correct. D will say something like all of the above, and E will say like A and C.
Mm-hmm.
And if you aren't looking, you might get to there and get it wrong. You might get to there and get it wrong, and then you'd have to get all the way to the end to know that it's actually that's the one that you're looking
They do
for.
that a lot in AP
Yes.
courses too. I'm taking AP chemistry right now, and it's like Roman numerals 1 and 2.
Yes.
You know.
So I had a question like that. They're very difficult. So that could be a strategy as well to say, do I even want to do this until the end, or because if you're going to take a lot of, there's two choices when you make a lot of time. You can just say, I'm not going to do it at all, or you can say, I better get this right, so I need to spend as much time. But your brain works a certain way, where if you do like two or three problems in a row, and then you get a question like this, you will inevitably like not choose. You will choose A because your brain gets trained in that short amount of time to choose the wrong answer
Mm-hmm.
for it. So just keep that in mind here. So let me jump back to the test that I will send you when we're all done. Um, okay, let's do number 4 here. I think we've seen this problem before. I can't tell for sure. There'll be fewer and fewer new questions, but there will still be some. For the first 17 miles, the cost in dollars of a ride-sharing service in New York City is modeled by the equation O equals 1 plus 7.75x, where x is the number of miles driven. Any travel over 17 miles is charged at a rate of $2 per mile. How much does the cost of the ride-sharing service increase from 15 miles to 25 miles? So this is one of those synthesis questions where you're, and maybe synthesis is the right word. It's a combining question. Oops. It's a combining. Maybe I'm going to use that word now. Combining. You've got to figure out, well, what's going on at 15 miles, what's going on at 25 miles, and then combine them.
Mm-hmm.
So this one says for the first 17 miles, the cost of a ride sharing service is this. So can you figure out the cost of 15 miles?
Um, yes, you plug in 15 to X.
That's right. So you can grab a calculator if you want. We're gonna do that at some point, but there is a better way to do this question. But go ahead. Do you have one handy?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and give me this cost.
117.25.
So notice none of the answers are that big, so there must be something more to do. Let's find the cost of 25 miles. So the mistake would be to use the same equation because it says any travel over 17 miles is charged at a rate of $2 per mile. What does that mean to you in terms of this?
25 minus 17, and then add, wait, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8. And then,
Times 2. Yep.
yeah, and then times 2. So
So
16. So you have to add 16 to whatever you get.
in the first part is 17 miles.
Right.
Okay, so give me this cost.
Okay, 7.75 times 17 plus 1 plus 16. 148.75.
So based on these two numbers, what is the correct answer? And then we're going to look at this problem totally differently.
You subtract the
Yes. Yeah, because the increase just means how much more is it?
3150.
So letter A.
Yeah.
Okay, I want you to look at this problem with me a totally different way now. And this is how this is how students get the high scores, because they save time on problems like this. So the first person goes, I'm going to make this represent 15 miles. Okay. The second person goes 25 miles. What is the same about both trips?
They both include 15 miles.
They both include 15 miles. So really, another way of asking this, which they won't do, but what you should see is, well, the first 15 miles is the same, and since I'm only trying to find the increase, I only care about that 15 to 17,
so 10,
whatever that costs, which is right here, 7.75. So 7.75, because it's the per miles times 2. That's the 15 to 17. Plus the 17 to 25, which is, so this is 15.5 plus 16, which is 3150.
Okay.
So almost every problem you see has a shortcut like this. So what we just covered here is what I call the indirect method, because the first way we did this problem is called the direct method. The indirect means you're somehow leveraging something about the problem that is non-obvious. And every problem is different, but do you think you can apply this technique to the same problem but with different numbers?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, well, I'd like you to try that. So if you have gotten these notes down, or if you haven't, why don't you write them down real quick?
So that's the 2. It's the 15. Okay.
Let me, I'm going to look at the third exam here to see if it's got any slightly nicer numbers. It's not great, but it's totally doable. So again, the emphasis here is like, you need to figure out what's really different about the two trips, and that's all you care about.
Okay, so it's different this time because it's okay. So 5 4.75. Plus. Oh, well, I didn't get any of those. So I did something wrong.
Okay, so it says, so one driver's going 6 miles, the other one's going 19. So the first 6 we don't care about. Where does the rate change? It's at 14 miles. So it's from 14 to 19, how much does it cost? I think that's the easier part here.
5 times 4.75.
4.75. And that's 20 plus 5 times 75. So that's whatever. It's 2375.
Yeah.
Okay. Plus, we know from 6 to 14, which is 8 miles.
Oh, that's okay.
It's
And then
just that it's times two because the fixed cost, that fixed cost comes right there at zero.
so you do 8 times 2 times 4.75, or no, you just leave it as 16. Okay. Yeah, that's where I messed up. So it's C.
Yes. So let me have you do one more of these. Once you know the trick, or whatever you want to call it, it's kind of, the question doesn't become all that interesting to look at, but it's it's worth noting that, again, that there's always sort of this shortcut to finding the correct answer. So
What did you get the 8 again? You did 19 minus.
eight is the 6 to 14.
Oh, okay.
See, after you leave, after you start, that five is no longer important, or whatever that
Right.
fixed cost is. That's like your, and I don't know if you've been in a, taxis had this. I don't think Uber and Lyft do this really. They just give you the total amount. But it used to be in a taxi they had a flag drop fee, which is what this was referring to. But nobody uses taxis anymore, so it's been dropped. But it's that, like, I don't know if you have a gym membership or used to, they always, oh, we want, so much money up front, or a golf membership or whatever. It's that upfront cost, but it's gone. And then it's just the monthly.
Okay. I'm gonna deposit.
Yes. Okay. So give this one a try here. It's the same sort of problem.
2.75. Point. Oh, I still got 74.
Okay. So I'm gonna try this a different way again. So the cost of the first 11 miles is 5.75. Oops. 5.75 plus 9.75 times 11. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
The cost of 22 miles is the cost of 11 miles plus the cost of 11 to 17 miles plus the cost of 17 to 22 miles. So whatever number you get here, which doesn't even matter, is the exact same number that you're going to get there.
Uh-huh.
Do you follow that?
Yeah.
So when we're asked for the difference, this is the difference right here. So how much does it cost to go from 11 to 17 miles? Well, it's however much it costs per mile, which is 9.75 times 17 minus 11.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
The cost from 17 to 22 miles, they tell you it's $2.75 per mile. 22 minus 17.
But aren't you supposed to do Okay, so 6 times or 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so it's 9.75 times 6, right?
Yes, yes.
That's 58.5, which I got. And then I thought you were supposed to do 5.75 times 2.75.
Well, the last leg of the trip is the 17 to 22 miles, and any travel over 17 miles is charged at a rate of 275 per mile.
Isn't that what we did in the last one? We did like 5 times 4.75.
We did in the last one though it was 14 to 19. That was the 5 miles times 4.75.
Oh. So it doesn't come from the equation at all. It just comes from the from the word rather, right?
Yeah, it comes from understanding these trip gaps, which I was trying to do it visually up here, and then um, you can do it quantitatively down here. So like in this problem here, you start at 0 and you go to the first one is 11, and this is the same for both. Then you go from 11 to 17, and that's still at 9.75 per mile. And then from 17 to 22, that's at 275 per mile.
Okay.
I think it'd be good to do one more of these because I don't want you to I don't want to leave you with kind of this. I'm not sure where not sure how to not I want you to do one of these all the way through without issue. So let me get to where I can get you that question. All right, this is
Yeah, sometimes I have trouble not going the most direct way.
yeah. I'm trying to give you options. The direct way will always get you there, but it's slower, and that's the point. It
I
just
and I tend to run out of time, so
yeah in this you definitely don't have enough time on this. Even you just wouldn't have it. Finding it now. Okay, so let's do this one here. So before you do anything, I just want to draw the picture here. So for the first 17 miles, it's the same. And you don't really care. So that's from 0 to 17. From 17 to 20, it's 275 a mile. That's this number here. That's where that comes from. From 20 to 23, it's 250 per mile. That number comes from there. So this on the right represents the increase.
mhm. Is it C?
So the first part, I think it is. The first part is 275 times 3, which is 825, plus 250 times 3, which is 750. Those add up to 1575.
Okay.
Are you done with this question, or would you like to look at the other fork? The kind of it's either the backwards or
No,
the.
we can do the other. We can do
Okay.
that.
All right. I will pull up the first one. I'll definitely work through it with you. Oh, and I haven't been doing this today, but I should do it for this next one. Is I should ask you to do without the multiple choice, just to get a comfort level with that. So it's the same exact prompt. Okay. They tell you first 13 miles, they give you the equation of the cost. Any travel over 13 miles is charged at a rate of 25 cents per mile. And then they say, okay, if they spent $71, well, how many miles was the trip? So again, this is one of those where you could try that, try that, try that, try that.
Uh-huh.
So the um, point is and the way I write these questions is not for to emphasize that. Like if we were actually in a class, I would make problems up where the answer was D to emphasize this, but I don't actually know where that is, so I wouldn't use that as a technique. So the $71, you would think that it's more than 13 miles. Like you would think that, but I'm not sure. So we should try that first. We should figure, well, how much does it cost for 13 miles? Okay, so 13 miles is 0.75 plus 5.25 times 13. If you have a calculator handy, can you give me that number?
Yeah. So point. Okay. 0.25 times 13 plus 69.
69 exactly?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is helpful in two ways. The first way is that, well, all the answers are more than 13, so it's kind of ridiculous for us to have done this, but I wanted, if they weren't here, you would at least have a starting point. So did they go more than 13 miles?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So the there's a number of ways you could solve this, but indirectly is, well, how much does it cost them to go, or how much further can they go with $2? Because 71 minus 69 equals $2, and they're charged 0.25 cents per mile. So 0.25 cents times some number of miles
Equals to.
equals $2. And the answer is they went 8 more miles.
Okay.
But that's on top of the 13.
Oh, that's how many. Okay. Yes. I see.
Yes.
How many miles, not how many. Okay.
Let's try another one here. Um, I apologize if I always give you the ones with the easy numbers and we work together, and then hard ones when I ask you to work it out here. We'll do this again. I want you to figure out the cost of the first 17 miles.
Okay. So it's $3 per mile plus 6.25. Um, 109.25 is what I got.
Okay, so clearly it's more than 17. We know that because it's right there. So this is, you said 109.75. I didn't hear.
25
Okay, the total is 136
minus
points minus 109.75. So that's a
point.
total of 27.
It's 25. 109.25.
Two, oh, 25. Okay, so that's 2750.
Okay. And then you do.
That can't be right because the additional mile, it should have been a whole number to get to the 3.
You use the 6 point. So you do. Hold on.
6.
You use the 6.5 or the 6.25 when you're finding the 17.
Well, for the first 17 miles, you have to include that fixed cost. So D is 6.5 plus 6.25 times 17.
Oh. I used the dollar. Okay, I did 3 plus 6.25 times 17. That's why. So it should be 6.5.
Should be like a, go ahead.
112.75.
Okay, so that makes more sense. That's 112.75. So when we subtract the two, that's $24.
Yeah.
And the $24, well, it's $3 per mile. So if you divide that by 3, you get 8 more miles.
So then 8 plus 24. No, 8 plus 17.
17, yeah. Which is 25. So this is an example of where like the answers kind of intersect in a space that's reasonable. You said, oh well, maybe it's 24, and that's kind of in there, or 24. You can really get thrown off by some of the numbers. So
If I didn't have multiple choice, I'd be so lost with these questions because I mean I got like for the other ones I got like $2 over, but $2 makes a difference.
Okay, so I'm going to give you this one without the answers.
Okay.
You can do this. It's the answers are a crutch.
Yeah.
You can definitely do it, but it is a little harder.
Okay.
All right, so give yourself a good minute or two to finish this one. I will be right back.
Okay. I got 18.
Say that one more time.
18.
Okay, so good news is that is one of the answers. It's letter C. Let me see if that's right. It is right. It is $18. Good. All right. Let's do. We don't have a ton of time, so let's do the previous version of this question, but without the multiple choice answers.
Okay.
And that way, you can close out this question and feel like you've got it down.
Maybe next time we can revisit the one before that, just so that I really got it down. The one that the first hit that we did.
This is so. Let's try it.
Oh, okay.
You're gonna try it again here. So, give yourself a good minute or two to work through this.
Oh dear. 5 times. Six plus 22. I feel like I'm forgetting to use a number, but I don't know. Because I got something like really low.
So the nice thing is that this is me pat myself on the back a little bit. These questions don't have like the answers always in this range, because that's unreally unreasonable. Like if you've ever done any ride sharing, it could be. I mean, people have actually done ride sharing from like I've asked the drivers like one fraternity house to the next one. So it could be as little as like a dollar, $2, or it could be people have gone up to Phoenix and it's a couple $100 sometimes. So
I got 1050.
you are correct.
Oh my gosh.
You are
Wow.
completely correct. It's letter D, and perfect.
That's a good way to end.
Great place to end here. Yeah, I'm going to send you this test, so you'll have it to work on with the email. Thanks again for scheduling, and look forward to helping you next time.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Bye.
Bye now.